Your words are creative seeds. Every word you speak is more than sound. It is a seed cast into the boundless soil of your own consciousness. Just as a gardener does not expect a seed to become a tree overnight, you may not witness the immediate blossoming of your spoken word, but make no mistake, the process begins the instant you release it. The soil never questions the seed, it simply accepts it, nourishes it, and brings forth a harvest according to its nature. So it is with your mind. It accepts the words you give it, and without judgment, produces a life that matches them. The great error many make is speaking without awareness, scattering seeds of lack, limitation, and defeat as carelessly as weeds. They wonder why life offers them hardship, never realizing it is only delivering the harvest of what they have planted in speech. Your outer world is a silent servant to your inner utterances. If you declared, "I cannot," you have sown a seed that will bear the fruit of impossibility. If you speak, "I am not enough," you have planted the roots of struggle and insufficiency. Every repetition of such words presses them deeper into the soil until they become strong, immovable growth. The wise cultivator is deliberate. They choose seeds with the harvest in mind. They know the tongue is not simply for describing the world, it is for shaping it. The moment you speak, you imprint your words upon the unseen, and the unseen begins to organize itself to fulfill your declaration. This is why you must bless yourself with words that match your desire, not your current condition. If you wish to harvest joy, plant joy in your speech. If you desire abundance, speak abundance, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. You might look at the garden of your life today and see areas overgrown with weeds. Do not despair. Every weed began as a seed, and every seed can be replaced. The beauty of creation is that it is ongoing. Soil never closes to you. You can begin in this very moment to sow new seeds, seeds of strength, love, wealth, and peace, knowing that the garden will inevitably shift to reflect your new plantings. It is not enough to plant once. A gardener tends to their seeds daily, watering them, protecting them, ensuring the right conditions for growth. Your words work the same way. You must return again and again to your declarations, speaking them with persistence and faith, even when no sprout is visible. For just beneath the surface, life is stirring, roots are forming, and your words are shaping the unseen into the inevitable form they promised at the moment of planting. Inner speech shapes outer reality. The conversations you hold within yourself are not idle. They are the blueprint of your world. Every silent statement, every whispered self-comment, every imagined dialogue is a shaping force, pressing its pattern upon the substance of life. You may believe that only your spoken words have power, but the greater power lies in the words you never speak aloud, the ceaseless chatter of the mind that you alone can hear. Your inner speech is not hidden from creation. It is, in fact, the very place where creation begins. It is the designer's sketch before the builder lays a single brick. The outer world is nothing but the finished structure of countless such sketches, drawn in the quiet rooms of your thoughts. If those inner conversations are filled with defeat, self-criticism, and doubt, the world you meet will reflect them with uncanny accuracy. If they are saturated with victory, praise, and certainty, the same law will clothe them in tangible form. Consider this: when you rehearse an argument in your mind, you are not merely recalling an event, you are feeding it, sustaining it, granting it fresh life in your reality. When you imagine yourself failing before you even attempt, you have already set the stage for that failure to greet you. Likewise, when you inwardly see yourself walking in peace, in confidence, in joy, the world rearranges itself to give you the stage for that performance. Most drift through their days unaware of the nature of their inner speech, as though their thoughts were inconsequential background noise. Yet it is that very background noise that becomes the music their life dances to. The law is impartial. It does not distinguish between a word spoken aloud and a word uttered in the silence of your mind. Both are seeds cast into the same fertile soil, and both will grow after their kind. To master your inner speech is to become the author of your circumstances, It requires observation, for you must first hear yourself before you can change your script. Listen to the way you speak about yourself inwardly when no one is watching. Notice how often you tell yourself you are tired, unlucky, undeserving, or incapable. These are not passing remarks, they are repeated commands to life, and life will obey them faithfully. Your mind is a stage upon which your words are constantly performed, and the world is the audience that reacts. When you alter the dialogue in here, the play-out blessings are self-permission for good. To bless yourself is not to plead with some distant power for favor. It is to grant yourself permission to experience the good you desire. It is to remove the quiet, hidden barriers within that have whispered, "You cannot," and replace them with the unshakable assurance, "It is already mine." So many live as though they must earn every scrap of joy, as though happiness, love, and abundance are rewards doled out sparingly by life. They wait for circumstances, people, or fate to hand them approval before daring to claim more. But blessing yourself is an act of sovereignty. It is you deciding that no outside authority can withhold what is rightfully yours in consciousness. It is the internal shift from seeking to possessing, from hoping to knowing. When you speak a blessing over yourself, you are not asking the world for permission, you are instructing it. You are aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to inhabit. I bless my health is another way of saying, I allow myself to live in perfect wholeness. I bless my finances is saying, I allow myself to be the recipient of overflowing provision. The blessing is not a request, it is a decree. This is why blessings carry such profound creative power. They dissolve the inner resistance that has been quietly repelling the very things you long for. For often it is not life that withholds, but the unspoken belief within that says, I do not deserve this, or this is too much for me. To bless yourself is to strip those beliefs of their authority, to replace them with the recognition that you are worthy now, without condition. A blessing is always spoken from the position of completion. It does not say, one day I will have peace, but peace fills me now. It does not say, I hope to find love, but love surrounds and saturates my life. By blessing yourself in this way, you are not pretending. You are choosing the reality that will take form. For the moment you give yourself permission for good, the gates within swing open, and what was once held back can flow to you freely. Many bless others but forget to bless themselves, as though self-blessing were selfish. Yet a life unblessed within cannot radiate blessing without. You must first fill your own cup with the words that affirm your worth, your beauty, your abundance, so that your outer world may bear witness to the permission you have granted yourself in secret. Speak from the end, not towards it. To speak from the end is to place yourself, in word and in feeling, at the moment your desire is already fulfilled. It is to abandon the language of the seeker and adopt the language of the possessor. When you speak from the end, you are not describing a journey. You are declaring an arrival. Most speak towards the end. They say, I will be happy when, I will have success if, one day I'll be free. This is the language of distance, and distance in speech becomes distance in life. When you speak in future terms, you affirm separation between yourself and your desire. You keep it always ahead of you, never in your grasp. The mind takes these statements as instructions and faithfully arranges reality to keep the fulfillment just beyond your reach. Speaking from the end is entirely different. It is the deliberate choice to assume that the desire has already taken shape, that the thing sought is already present, and then to speak accordingly. Instead of I will be, it becomes I am. Instead of I hope, it becomes I have. It is not fantasy. It is creation in its purest form. For what you continually affirm as now takes root in the invisible and pushes its way into form. The reason this works is that your inner state precedes and determines your outer experience. If you can dwell in the feeling and language of the accomplished fact, your outer world must eventually conform to match that inner reality. When you say, I am successful, and mean it with the quiet certainty of completion, You are giving life precise instructions to arrange itself as though it were true, until it is. Consider an actor preparing for a role. They do not speak as though they will one day become the character. They speak as the character from the moment they step into rehearsal. Every word, every gesture, is drawn from the end. By the time the curtain rises, the transformation feels natural, inevitable. You are the actor in the drama of your own life, and the lines you choose to speak determine the role you inhabit. This requires discipline, for the senses may scream that nothing has changed, appearances may contradict your spoken end, yet if you persist, if you refuse to revert to the language of distance, those appearances will yield. Your unwavering declarations from the end will dissolve the old reality and replace it with the new. Speaking from the end is also speaking with gratitude. Gratitude belongs to the one who already possesses, not the one still waiting. When you say a thank you for my perfect health while symptoms remain, you are not ignoring reality. You are declaring a higher one. You are insisting on the truth you have chosen, and in doing so, you compel life to reveal it. In every matter, speak as the one who already stands in the place you long to reach. Let your words be the sound of arrival, not the echo of longing. Consistency over circumstances. If you wish to shape life according to your desire, you must learn to remain constant in your inner position, no matter what the outer world presents. Circumstances are the residue of past thoughts, past words, and past states of being. They are not a reflection of what you are now choosing to create, but of what you once entertained. To judge your new declarations by the evidence of old circumstances is to dig up the seed before it has had the chance to grow. Consistency is the law's greatest ally. What you affirm once in a burst of enthusiasm, but abandon in doubt the next day, carries little creative weight. It is the steady, repeated declaration, spoken with the same certainty whether the world agrees or not, that bends reality to match it. Like water wearing away stone, your persistent inner stance will erode even the most immovable appearance until it yields to the form you have chosen. Many lose heart because they expect the world to change instantly, forgetting that what they see is often the tail end of an old creation. When a gardener plants a seed, they do not demand fruit the next morning. They trust the process, tending to the unseen work beneath the soil. So must you with your words and your inner speech. You must hold to them as though the transformation were already in motion, because it is. Circumstances will tempt you to speak differently. The bank account may urge you to say you are in lack. The lingering illness may invite you to confess weakness. The relationship strain may press you to admit loneliness or rejection. But if you take these appearances as final, you anchor yourself to them. Every time you shift your speech to match the outer world, you hand it the authority to dictate your reality. Consistency means you keep your word to yourself. If you have declared, I am prosperous, you speak it when the bills come due just as firmly as when the windfall arrives. If you have claimed, I am healthy, you say it when energy is low as faithfully as when strength overflows. You decide once, and then you refuse to undecide. This steadfastness is not stubbornness for its own sake. It is the recognition that the outer world is fluid and must eventually conform to the persistent image held within. Your inner declarations are the mold, and life is the molten substance that hardens into whatever shape you hold most consistently. Change the mold often, and the result is distortion. Hold it steady, and the result is inevitable clarity. It is the quiet, unshaken repetition of truth in the face of contradiction that marks the master of creation. The winds of circumstance may blow, but the rooted tree remains, and in time even the storm must pass. So it is with your declarations. Remain in them, and the world will reshape itself to honor your constancy. Gratitude seals the blessing. Gratitude is not merely a polite response to something received. It is the invisible cement that fixes your desire into the mold of reality. When you give thanks for a thing, you claim it as already yours. you acknowledge its presence before your eyes can behold it, and by doing so, you hold it fast in consciousness until it must take form. Most treat gratitude as an afterthought, a reaction to what has already arrived, but true creative gratitude is anticipatory. It moves ahead of evidence. It does not wait for the senses to be satisfied before expressing joy. It is the quiet, confident voice that says, "Thank you," when all appearances argue that nothing has changed. This is not delusion, it is mastery, for life responds not to the facts you observe, but to the state you occupy, and gratitude is the state of possession. When you bless yourself with words, declaring health, abundance, love, or peace, you are planting seeds in the fertile ground of your mind. But seeds must be tended if they are to grow. Gratitude is the tender's hand, watering the soil and protecting the sprout from the weeds of doubt. Each a thank you is a gentle assurance that you trust the process, that you believe the unseen is as real as the seen. Without gratitude, blessings can be undone. If you speak health, but then lament the persistence of symptoms, you uproot the seed before it can bear fruit. If you affirm prosperity, but then complain about lack, you scatter the energy you have gathered. Gratitude prevents this by holding your attention on the reality you have chosen, rather than the appearance you wish to leave behind. It is the seal on the envelope. You have written the letter of your desire, but until it is sealed, it is not ready for delivery. True gratitude is not forced. It is born from the inner knowing that the gift exists, whether or not your senses confirm it. This is why it is so powerful. It cannot be faked in spirit. You may speak the words mechanically, but until they rise from the heart with the feeling of certainty, they carry little weight. When you feel it, however, even silently, life hears you. It recognizes your tone as one who has received, and it arranges itself to match your confession. Gratitude also shifts the quality of your inner speech. Instead of speaking in the tone of a seeker, straining, longing, and waiting, you speak as the one who is satisfied, complete, and at rest. The seeker is restless, the possessor is serene, and life mirrors serenity with swift manifestation, for there is no resistance in the state of fulfillment. When you dwell in gratitude, you are no longer asking, you are enjoying, even before the object of enjoyment has appeared. This is the mystery. What you enjoy inwardly must appear outwardly. If you can give thanks for the answered prayer while it is yet invisible, you have already received it in the only place that matters, your consciousness. The outer world is merely the echo of that inner reception. Think of gratitude as the closing act of the creative process. You have imagined the scene, spoken the blessing, persisted despite appearances. Now you give thanks, not a hurried thanks, not a conditional thanks, but a thanks that rests in the finality of what has been decreed. You are not trying to make it happen, you are celebrating that it is done, and so the blessing is sealed, fixed, and held in place, not by effort, but by the calm, unwavering acknowledgement that it is already yours. When you understand that your words are seeds, your inner speech the blueprint, and your blessings the permission for good, you begin to speak as though your desire is already fulfilled. You stay consistent, refusing to let circumstances dictate your declarations, and you seal every word with gratitude, holding it fast until it appears. This is the way of creation, to live from the end, speak only what you choose to see, and remain unshaken until it is done. Bless yourself daily, for life will echo every word you speak, quietly at first, then unmistakably, until your world becomes your decree.